Patty Mills, thank you so much for joining me, taking the opportunity. I want to start off by asking you about the quick turnaround. Us as journalists felt as though last season went into this season and there wasn't a break. As a player, did you feel something similar?
Yeah, um, I think so. It's just all new kind of, you know, areas for everyone, I guess. But going into having the hiatus first, and the uncertainty across the NBA season, and then coming with the restart in Orlando with the NBA bubble. Um, and I guess our approach and our team's approach, and my involvement actually in the bubble, it did seem like a quick turnaround, but then again, I guess it was what certain individuals were able to do with that time. So although it might seem like a quick turnaround, I think I was able to get a lot of stuff done, both on and off the court during that time, to be able to put myself in a best position here. But understanding the circumstances and the NBA, although it might be a quick turnaround for some teams going all the way to the playoffs and finals as well. This is by far the best situation for all of us, not only as players, but fans, owners, NBA, everyone in general, for everyone to be, on that same page. Jeff, I think it's good for everyone.
You, from an encore perspective, have started to warn people about Boomers Patty, FIBA Patty, that version of you coming to the NBA. Why now? What kind of changed in your mentality that made you think that now's the time that you want to go all out as far as being that guy?
Yeah, look, I'm not ignorant to the fact that there are two different players here. Who I am with the Boomers and who I am with the Spurs, and I'm definitely well aware of that. I've been told it for years. But this is 10 long seasons with the Spurs, where I've gained so much knowledge and experience about the game and how to approach it. Um, but this mentality shift didn't happen overnight necessarily, right? This is, and I guess, sure, there was time, there was, some self-reflection time during the COVID hiatus, and especially when there was so much uncertainty surrounding the NBA season and Tokyo Olympics. But for me, this is an attitude born out of self-awareness of all the genuine hard work that I've put in to prepare for this moment and the upcoming 8 months. And why now? Because not making the playoffs for the first time in my career pissed me off. And there's also a gold medal to be won. It's as simple as that.
Is there a sense that, you're now in your early 30s, time will start to run out like it does with everybody? There's only so much time that you have to be this player. You have to make the most out of who you can be as soon as possible. Is that a part of it too?
Yeah, sure. I think it's, again, seizing the moments and the opportunities that arise. And I also think the way that I look at it is again how much knowledge and experience that I've gained and learned over time and put in the vault to be able to, um, let it unleash in times like these. So I'm a much better player and person, and understand the game much better than I did before. Um, I've always been a person too, being able to say things that I don't mean, and if I say it, I'm not apologetic about it, and I mean it when I say it. And this is, yeah, one of those examples, I guess.
So you say you were pissed off about not making the playoffs for the first time in your career. I think of me covering you in China at the World Cup, and the framing of our question was always, you play at this level in FIBA basketball. Why don't you do this in the NBA? Whereas the question could have been framed as, why don't you get the opportunity to show this person in the NBA? Did that sort of framing get to you? Did that make you feel as though this needed to happen?
I wouldn't say it got to me, or things like that. I wouldn't say things like that would get to me or annoy me. I guess that's the question for you, mate. If you let it get to you on your framing of me in a way. But yeah, look, it is a good question, and I don't disagree with you. But again, I'm well aware of the different players. How I play for the Boomers, that's my identity. That's who I am. That's when I'm at my best. But the fact is, coming here to San Antonio, I accepted a role within a tight family in an environment that was iconic to a winning franchise, and was actually able to make a massive impact in doing so. We all make sacrifices along the way to achieve something, and me passing up opportunities on my dream of being a starting point guard was one of them. Do I regret that? No. But my decisions has always been based on the bigger, more broader picture of my development as a player, that also stretched way beyond basketball as well.
You speak about the Spurs and the culture they had and being that guy. I think of guys like Manu Ginobili and Boris Diaw and all of these guys who, if you put Ginobili on another team, he's the best player on that team potentially, right? I know you were close with those guys. Did you speak to them about this and, wanting to not necessarily break the mold of what it is to be a really good player on the Spurs, but to make sure that you don't waste the opportunity that you have as far as, the potential that you have as a player?
Yeah, and I hear, and I think again, it's back to the sacrifice. But I think what probably helped me the most was having a teammate so close to me, and essentially someone to look up to in Manu Ginobili, and see how he approached his role, and accepting that role, and that was something that I followed as well, and being close with him. And helped me along the way. There's no doubt about it. But I always had this itch, that still wanting to be who I am, or not forgetting who I am and who I am as a player. And that's come out a few times, but I think not at its full strength. That I've obviously known the capabilities of myself and what I can do. But like I said, the decisions have always been based on things that go beyond, me as just a player, but beyond basketball as well. So I'll never regret it, because as I say right now, sitting here in front of you, I'm a much better player and person, probably more importantly than I think I ever would be if I didn't get 10 seasons here at the Spurs.
What have your conversations been like with the front office, the coaching staff, about you wanting to take that leap? Have they been receptive to it? How have those played out?
Yeah, good. Obviously, staying in close contact and having conversations over the break and whatnot, and obviously being close with Pop as well. But look, at the end of the day, it's not like he's going to hand over the keys to me and say, "Go ahead, mate." and I think for whatever fans, other people out there don't necessarily realize too how far away I am from Pop's ideal player, you know, in many aspects probably, but physically for sure. You know, I'm small, have short arms, can't jump high, and shoot a bunch of threes. You know, and I think about the players that he's had in the past and their size and athleticism and even the style of play. David Robinson, Sean Elliott, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Bruce Bowen, right? You can see the length and the size and the athleticism. I'm probably the exact opposite of his ideal player. Me and Avery Johnson are probably the smallest players he's ever had, and I shoot way more threes than Avery had. But I think the point is, you know, I've had to fight and scratch and claw to earn my keep here in San Antonio. And it's no question that aspect itself has played a big part in the development, I guess, of my character as a player. But, you know, my approach is always going to be about what I can control. And I guess the difference now is I just have a greater understanding and focus on those specific times where I can really lock in and absolutely seize the moment when those opportunities do come up. You know, as for, you know, I don't know what you want to call it, chip on your shoulder or vengeance or any type of motivation, wherever you get it from, you know, it doesn't matter who or what, you know, you get your vengeance from, as long as you carry that chip on your shoulder and you bring some nasty and you show some heart, you know, Pop will always be receptive to that, as well as the organization. And obviously, you know, the city of San Antonio is very receptive to that type of behavior, I guess.
I have a few questions on the Boomers, but before I get to that, one last question on you and the Spurs and your relationship with Pop. You mentioned that you're not his ideal player as far as the guys who've excelled underneath him, but every time you speak to Pop, there is this reverence that he has for you, not just as a player, but as a human being. How much, you know, how does that feel for you to know that someone like him, who's been around for so long and he's so revered himself, has that sort of opinion on you, not just as a player, but as a person and as a man in, you know, his life?
Yeah, I think you got to. I mean, we've been through a lot over the course of, you know, going on 10 seasons now, and you know, you witness the relationships that he has with Tim, Tony, and Manu, and the past players of David Robinson and so on, you know, and you know, you sit at Jersey retirement night and you hear you know, I hear the stories that have been repeated, obviously being around for so long. They're stories that I've heard before, but Pop's always been that father figure to those guys. And in a funny way, you know, there's a little bit of father figure in Tim, Tony, and Manu. So to see what Pop is as it refers to me, you know, that there's definitely that that figure that, you know, I've always looked up to. That stretches beyond basketball and plays back into that same question, you know. But, you know, we've been through a lot together, both on and off the court. But, you know, his support that he shows for all his players that he cares about, you know, that come through the program and move on, you know, he has that same care for everyone. It's just, I owe him a lot. I really do. But the main thing that I owe him for is just the amount of support that he's had for me and my wife, especially ever since being here in San Antonio. And even back in Australia too, the amount of support that he's provided for me being back there as well. Yeah.
Speaking of head coaches, the Boomers, I guess, pretty recently announced Brian Goorjian as its new head coach. When that vacancy was open, how much input did you have, and some of those other key senior guys on the Boomers, how much input did you have in that process? And just generally, what are your thoughts on Goorjian coming back to the Boomers and being the guy that's going to take you through to Tokyo?
Yeah, no, it's a good question, mate. And as the leader of the team, I would have been pretty disappointed if my voice wasn't heard in this aspect. But I got to thank the Players Association for that one. But yeah, I was able to give my 2 cents, which I was pleased about, and of course very, very happy with the outcome. And very happy that the other boys too got their 2 cents in. We're obviously a tight group and have been for some time now, so it was good that our voices were heard, I guess. As for Gorge, my Boomers journey began with Gorge as a 17-year-old, so I'm ecstatic to have him back. I think it's fair to say as well that he's definitely felt my determination come through the phone like a big right hook or something, probably. But he knows what we're about, and he knows what we're trying to do. But very, very pumped to have him back in the program, and just looking forward to getting back on the court with him.
He's mentioned that you've expressed your desire to play in Tokyo. Obviously, the world is spinning and we don't know what's going to happen. But at this point, is your expectation that you will be in Tokyo come the start of the Olympics?
Oh, crystal clear, mate. No hesitation at all. I think everyone's well aware of that throughout, the program, the team, obviously Gorge, players as well. There's no doubt about it. Not a single ounce of blood vessel in my body says otherwise. No, I'm fully committed, obviously, and that obviously comes from a very genuine place and a goal that we have as a team, that we're also determined, very determined to accomplish, and we have an absolute cracker of a chance to be able to achieve that in Tokyo, amidst all the adversities that we've had to go through, with COVID, obviously.
I think it was maybe a year and a half ago, you were on a conference call with a few of us Australian reporters, and you weren't too shy about calling out Basketball Australia for the resources that you felt the guys needed, and that some of the things that were lacking. At this point, today, are you satisfied with the resources that you guys have gotten and the way Basketball Australia treats its players and the Boomers program as a whole?
We got a long way to go. And sure, there's pressure on the success of our group and how that affects the program moving forward. I know that. I definitely feel that. But right now, the program is only as strong as its players will take it. The players the program is only as strong as the players will take it, and I don't say that in a necessarily as a good thing. We definitely got some work to do in this area, I believe, but for now it's full focus on Tokyo, and a gold medal would do wonders for our program, I think, as at least a starting point. But there's a prestigious feeling within our program that needs to be obviously a joint effort between the playing group and Basketball Australia, obviously, to be able to make sure, when we've lost Bogues, obviously, when I step away, when Joe Ingles steps away, Delhi, Baines, that program is still elite, if not, even more levels up, as it should be. I always go to the prestigious feeling that it must feel when you receive your first baggy green, or Wallabies jersey and coats and hats and the whole thing. And, even State of Origin, that prestigious culture and program of feeling like you feel when you walk into that environment that you're a part of something much, much, much bigger. And that will help you stay in the program no matter what adversities you go through, So yeah, and that's probably why I say we got a long way to go. But I stay true to what I say, is that it's full focus on Tokyo and what we're trying to achieve in Tokyo. But like I said, a gold medal would definitely do wonders for our program.
So I from where I see it, I don't think the Boomers is at that place yet where, if you get a baggy green, the reverence that comes with having something like that. I don't think the Boomers is currently at that level. Obviously, a medal of any color, obviously a gold medal will undoubtedly help that. What else do you think needs to be done in order to make the Boomers this prestigious, accomplishment that you see it as and that you want it to be for others?
Yeah, like I said, it comes from a place that's greater than success of the program, right? Like it should be, no matter what, if there's success or not, right? The program is still strong and solid, and you're right, we're not there yet. We should be, especially because of the quality of players that we have produced and that are coming through, and obviously playing in the NBA and playing on NBA championship teams and so on. I don't know, and I wish that there was enough time to be able to dive into it right now. But like I said, I mean, the full focus is on what we can do right now to put us in the best possible, position to win a gold medal in Tokyo. But like I said, it's definitely a group effort.
Have you spoken to the key guys, as far as the senior players in the Boomers, as far as playing in this Tokyo Olympics? And have you expressed this sentiment that you've just described to me of wanting to take the Boomers to the next level? Have you got the feeling that they've bought in on that sentiment too?
Oh yeah, for sure. And you've seen it, you've seen it take strides year by year. And I think our biggest stride was in China for sure, and the preparation and that. But like I said, there's still a long way to go. And without trying to avoid your question, mate, it's like everyone that's a part of our program right now, from the head coach all the way through to our equipment manager, like everyone's got to be locked in and feel exactly the same way as we feel, determined and, fire burning inside, desire to do everything we possibly can to win this gold medal, help us take all the distractions out, and let's get to the meat of what we're really doing here, and unnecessary, distractions or barriers, that's where it's a group effort of everyone that's involved. And that's the way it should be, everyone should feel like that. Yeah, definitely we've spoken together as a leadership group, and what needs to be done and what we can improve. Obviously it's very difficult times with COVID and even what our preparation looks like, but at least the leadership group is definitely on the same page, with what we're trying to we're trying to achieve and how we're trying to achieve it.
I don't mean for this to be a gotcha question, but how much would Ben Simmons' involvement, given his stature as a player and person, help the Boomers get to the point, not just on the court, but what you want the philosophy of the Boomers to be, off the court and throughout Australia? How helpful would his, full throttle involvement be to reaching that goal that you want of the Boomers being this respected organization within the country?
Yeah, of course, massive. You're not going to deny his involvement. Would not only help us reach a goal for the playing group of a gold medal, but the overall stature of the program. There's no doubt about it. And I think this is where it's more of a more group effort to be able to build our program to the point that someone like Ben Simmons, who's our first ever Australian NBA All-Star, says, heck yeah, that program is, hands down, hell yeah, I want to be back there. Whether I'm injured or this or that or whatever, I want to be a part of that, and that's where there's I'm worried. I'm worried for what our program will look like moving forward. Which, yeah, sure, it puts pressure, and that's not a bad thing to have, pressure, for the success of this group. But, I am worried about our program and where it could be, once we lose our leadership group. And as you know, we've obviously already lost one in Bogues. Yeah.
My last question for you is, I was in China. I saw how cerebral you were as far as the way you prepare for games and just your mentality throughout that entire campaign. And, we've seen it with the Spurs in title runs too. From the beginning of your career to this point now, what's been the biggest growth for you as far as your mentality, as a person? What do you see as the one thing that separates the Paddy Mills of today from the Paddy Mills of 10 years ago?
Yeah, that is a good question. And relating it to like the thing that I will always come back to is who I am. And I think I know what you're asking, and hopefully I can answer this. But I'll always say this, that my name is Patrick Mills. I'm a Gugana man from South Australia, and I'm a Nagyagal and Dawareb Meriam man of the Torres Strait Islands. My connections and roots to this land of Australia, the sea, the reefs, the sky, the stars, come from a time and place that existed long before basketball was invented, and definitely long before the Boomers program was created. So I always like to come back to that. That's my connection to everything. That my passion comes from my people, and what they mean to this country. The rest comes from adversity and barriers that I've experienced, that I know for a fact still exist for many other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, especially kids today. But wearing the green and gold on the biggest of stages allows all of that to come pouring out. So I don't know if I'm answering your question or not, if there was a defining moment or not, but I feel like, the further and longer away I am from home, the stronger my connection I have, and as I said, wearing the green and gold just allows all of that to come pouring out. But I've gotten to a place in my career, I believe, where I have to be a role model for my people in all aspects of life. And I guess, and not to take it down another path, I think I'm still connecting to your question here, but a Cathy Freeman story. When she attended her first ever NBA game, and she after the game, obviously she's ecstatic and very joyful person, as I'm sure everyone knows. But there was a moment in time of our when we were together where she looked me in the eyes and said, "You don't know what you mean to our people." And me being, I kind of answered in a way of like, "Yeah, no, I know." And she grabbed me and stared at me back, with her serious face. Now, "No, you don't know what you mean to our people. So keep doing what you're doing." And I guess that's probably a moment where, really made me think and go back to the point of, no, she's right. I don't think, I think I do, but I don't really think I do, and that was a cool moment, because obviously I remember as a 5, 6 year old, first watching Cathy Freeman run, and the impact she made on me, just from sitting in the lounge room watching her on TV. So when I think about that interaction that I had with her that night, I think the same way, that there's kids out there that are watching TV or newspapers, or gonna read this, that I'll have an impact. And I think I know the impact that I'm having, but I don't really think I do. And that was Cathy's advice anyway. Keep doing what I'm doing. So I'll try.
Paddy, appreciate you taking the opportunity. Keep doing what you're doing and have a good season. Stay safe, healthy, and thank you for taking the opportunity.
Yeah, appreciate it, mate. Thanks for that.